So, can you make music completely for free? I know there's quite a few of you out there that watch me and other YouTubers and think, well, yeah, he's got all the best, most expensive plugins and software and kit. If I had all of that, I could make great tracks too. Well, I want to kind of dispel that myth. Today, I'm going to make a complete track idea from scratch using only free software, plugins, and samples. So first off, I've wiped this 2015 MacBook Pro, got rid of everything on it. This was my previous studio computer. It may be 7 years old, but it still works quite well. And I want to see if I can make a full track idea on this using only free software. Let's go. Okay, so let's jump into this. The first thing I want to show you actually is the specs for this computer, just because you're probably going to ask in the description. This is an old Mac, it's about 7 years old. It's got a 2.5 gigahertz quad core processor i7 and 16 gigabytes worth of RAM. So it's not really the highest spec at the moment. Now, coming into this video, I deliberately didn't do too much research. I wanted it to be quite raw and for you to be able to see me kind of learning and finding stuff out as I went, just the same as you would do if you were in the same situation. But I did do just a little bit of research to kind of pick out the best software I was going to use, best plugins, best places to find samples, just so we weren't spending so long on Google trying to find these things. Now, the first thing was to pick a piece of software that we're going to produce music in. That's called a digital audio workstation, otherwise known as a DAW. And the one I've actually settled on is Waveform Free by Traction. Now, I did consider a few others like Ableton Live Lite, for example. You can get a free version of that. However, it is quite restrictive in what you can do with it. I also considered Studio One Prime by PreSonus, but the only problem there was, even though this was quite fully featured, it didn't support VST support, so plugin support. And that's kind of really what I wanted. I wanted a piece of software that didn't have any kind of restrictions, kind of allowed you to do most of the stuff you'd need to do as a producer for free. You could actually have plugin support, so if the actual DAW itself didn't support something, you could get a plugin to do what you wanted to with it. And that's kind of why I picked it. And also it is cross-platform, so you can get it for Windows and Mac. Looking through a few videos, it does look quite fully featured and it's got a whole bunch of awards, so I think this might be a good start. So I'm going to get that downloaded now. So as with most of these kind of free downloads, you still have to kind of sign up to the website to get an account. It's a small thing just to be able to get a free bit of software. And let's go through and install this. Right, let's see what this DAW's like. This is the first DAW I've learned in about 7 years, 10 years maybe even. Ah, there you go. That's what the account's for. You need to log in to be able to register everything on here. Okay, so this is quite nice. It actually guides you through the setup process for Waveform, which is interesting. So I've installed it. Now I just need to go through all these other steps. It's gone through and scanned all my plugins, which are just the basic ones that come with Apple, I think. Right, let's get going with this. I'm going to close this wizard down and let's have a look at creating a new project. I'll just call this first project. Quite interestingly, it's actually got templates here as well. EDM, house of worship, band recording. Wow. I wonder what the EDM one's like. Try that one, see what that's like. Okay, so this is not a template. This is like a whole demo song. Yes, that's not really a template at all. That's like a full finished track. I'm actually going to get rid of that. Let's try another one. I'm going to start off with a blank project and I'll go with the default template for this one. Quite interestingly, this does look a little bit similar to Ableton in a way, I suppose. Down the left-hand side here, you have the kind of browser with all the different elements. Then you've got your main kind of compositional arrangement area in the middle here, and then the transport bar down the bottom. It's like a combination of all the different DAWs that are currently out there as well. So we've got some plugins in here. So these are all the third-party ones. Some presets there. These are for the different effects that come with Waveform, I'm guessing. Racks, samples. These are factory ones, okay. Something to work with. Clips. So this is interesting. There's actually MIDI clips in there, kind of almost basic patterns that you could start off with. It's quite interesting. Let's drop one of these on here and see what it's like. What does it actually do? Okay, it is literally just a MIDI pattern because there's no sound coming out at all. How do we assign an instrument to here? Okay, add it over here. Oh, okay, I get it now. What if I just load that loop in there? Oh, I can. And there we go. Let's just take that kick. That clip doesn't seem to be working. Let's try making another clip. Insert a MIDI clip. Very weirdly, it's playing it. I've loaded it as like a kind of drum kit, but it's playing it like an instrument. I'm so used to the Ableton shortcuts, it's going to take me a little while to kind of figure these ones out. Now I just want to change, I actually want to change the BPM. How do I change the BPM? Okay, first time I'm going to Google, change BPM in Waveform Free.
Right now I have this set to 160. I'm going to change it to 90. So you click on that number and now the properties changes to tempo properties.
Ah, there we go. I need the actions menu open. Right, so I click on that and now I can actually adjust this. Let's get up to a nice house beat. Let's say 127. Right, so now I definitely need some of my kind of drums. There's obviously only 3 loops within here to get going with, so I am actually going to go and find some more. Now, for free samples, there's a few places I would look. Obviously, Google is a great place to find stuff. So, for example, I'm looking for maybe some 909 drums. I can have a look at free 909 samples. Download, for example. Now, because a 909 drum machine is quite common, loads of people have sampled it over the years, so there's plenty of places you can get them for free. For example, here, there's this one here, which has been tape processed, so we've got a bit more of a kind of gritty recordings. Yeah, they sound pretty decent. Let's get them downloaded. And I'm going to put them in my samples folder. And this will be interesting to see if this actually picks it up. It did say it was kind of managing the loop library. I can drag and drop that in here. So now I've got those drums downloaded. I'm actually going to start with a new drum instrument in here, I think. Yeah, get that in there. That might be a bit easier then. And I can load onto the kick. That was actually really nice, that. Let's load that onto there. Get one of those on there. All right, so I got some simple 909 drums in there. Just remove this clip and start again. See if it actually works like Ableton does. Insert, there we go, step clip. Oh, nice. This is like a little drum sequencer. This is cool. The kick in there. That was easy enough. Fairly simple drum beat going there. Let's edit some of these drum samples. Can I fade this off? There doesn't seem to be any way to kind of fade these samples. That's a little bit annoying. In fact, I think I'm going to separate my kick from the rest of the drums for this. Wonder if I can just duplicate this track somehow. No, I don't want to duplicate the MIDI clip. I want to duplicate the track. There we go. And I'll keep this as my kick. So that's everything else gone from within there. Get rid of the kick from within this one. Let's try get some EQ on there. Hopefully this is how you do it. I'm not sure if this is how you do it. 3-band EQ. There we go. Let's take a bit of the low end out of that one. That me, or is it just, that's just not doing anything at all? Ah, there you go. It's put it in before there. That's a bit weird. I wonder if there's any way to add kind of groove to this drum beat that we got here, because these are obviously quite on grid. Again, let's turn to Google.
So because I've got 16 steps here, I'll use the 16th swing, and then you can put the swing amount.
Right, okay, I get it then. So this action tab, yeah, that's got the groove on there. Okay, let's add a groove to it. Let's try the 16th swing. Oh, wrong clip. Try this one. That would help. Yeah, that sounds better. Let's add a snare in there as well. Let's get a snare. I'm going to try that one. So I've got a really simple beat going on there, just with some simple 909 samples that I found on the web. But I want to kind of lay this up with some other drum loops. So I'm going to head over to Loopmasters and see what free content we can get from there. I'm going to head into the house section and see what new packs they got within here. Some nice beats within there. If I go through to this pack, then quite often you'll see that they have a download of a taster pack. So that's a free download of just some of the samples within that pack. Of course, you still need an account for this, but again, you're just getting free content. We've got a vocal pack here as well. Let's hope there's some free ones in there. Damn it. See, not every sample pack has a free taster. Deep Tech Vocals, there you go, some stuff within there. We might have to do something with that. Again, I mean, obviously you want decent samples to work from, so there might be something in there, there might not. There you go, so we got a whole load of free samples we downloaded there. As I say, you can go through there for ages just to find the ones that you want to. Obviously, you can look through the packs that have that kind of sound that you're after, then hopefully, fingers crossed, you might get some free samples out of it. There might be some stuff in there. I don't know that kind of percussion sound, but there's some interesting stuff in there. In fact, I wonder if we can just drop it straight onto here. Oh, this is interesting. It actually imports it into your project. Cool. So it actually has done it to the tempo. No, it hasn't done it to the tempo, actually. You know what? I might just cut out that clap and just use that clap. I'm not sure if there's anything else in there I want. Split. There we go. Split. / okay. And we got a fade out. Nice. It sounds similar to our 909 clap already. I think I'll just thicken it up a little bit. So you can't. Interesting. So this is one of the first features I can't use in the waveform free. It can't consolidate a clip. Okay. Interesting. Let me get rid of that loop. Let's try another one. That one might be interesting. Let's drag and drop this on here. Still not in time. We need to figure out how to get it in time.
Now the trick to this is that you hold down the Alt key and drag from the trim handle. Normally if you drag this trim handle, you'll see that it just shortens the clip and then you can't really stretch it. But if you hold down Option on a Mac or Alt on a PC, you can see that it actually stretches the waveform out.
Right, okay. So I was nearly there with it. So I just need to hold down, you say Alt? Ah, there we go. Stretchy stretch. Actually, now I'm not so keen on that, but at least I know how to time stretch now, so I can get another sample in there and have a look. This might be quite cool. Let's get this in here. So hold down Control, no Alt. There we go. Stretching. Ooh, there we go. That might work quite nicely. Not sure I like those bits there, so I might actually cut them out. We got the fades. There we go. We got the fades on there, just in case there's anything there. In fact, I just like that one there. I'm going to copy that across. Let's add an EQ in there. I want to get an EQ. Just want some light texture at the top there. In fact, I might actually use that kick from within that loop there. So I'm going to go back to this micro drum thing again. And I'm going to load that in here, hopefully, if that works. Annoyingly, that has got a symbol on it, but it might just work. Not so keen on that closed hat. I wonder if I can find a replacement for that. That's quite a nice kick as well, actually. I'm going to try replacing that, actually. It's quite a heavy one, that one, actually. It's quite annoying you can't roll that off there because I can hear something annoying at the end there. No, not keen on that percussion anymore. Try something else. Let's see if we can find another pack within here, maybe. US House and Garage. Now this might be good. Yep, let's try that one. That first hat is a bit annoying. I'm going to put a double kick in there, I think. A lower velocity one. In fact, I'm going to split these claps down, I think, so I can EQ them separately. Okay, so I think I've got a basic beat in there. I'll probably end up tweaking that a little bit later. Next, I want to get the vocals in there because we're working from free vocals. Obviously, I haven't got that much kind of selection. I can't choose what key I want my vocals in. So it's going to be a whole lot easier finding the vocals and then basing my music around that.
She doesn't deserve you. She doesn't deserve you. Oh, oh. So tell me now, is that your last goodbye?
It's about you. Bum, 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 bum. This must be heaven. It's about you.
I think that one might work. Might be able to do something with that. I quite like that. I have no idea what a BWAV clip is. That's just strange.
It's about you.
In fact, that's not even in the right timing, but it still kind of works. I'm going to try doing something with this, I think. I'm going to cut that up.
It's about you. 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 Value. It's about you. It's about you. Value. About you. Value. It's about you. It's about you. Value.
That's sounding pretty good so far. In fact, I'm going to copy this across. Let's get some effects on here and see what they've got in here, actually. I think I want a delay in that. Let's get a delay.
It's about you. It's about you. Value. 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 It's about.
Interesting. So you can actually change each one individually, but there's no way to lock it so they're both exactly the same. That'd be a lot easier.
It's about you. Value. It's about you. It's about you. Value. It's about you. It's about you. Value. It's about you. It's about you. Value. It's about you.
Yeah, not brilliant, but it kind of works. Let's put a bit of reverb on there as well. Plate reverb. Natural reverb. Interesting.
It's about you. It's about you. Value. It's about you. It's about you. Value. It's about you. It's about you. Value. It's about you. It's about you. It's about you. It's about you. Value. It's about you. It's about you. Value. It's about you. It's about you. Value.
Now, I do actually want to sidechain this a little bit, but it's going to be interesting to see how I can do this. Hopefully it's in one of their compressors, maybe in the compressor.
It's about you. It's about you. Value. It's about you. It's about you.
There we go. We got sidechain, but what is the sidechain coming from?
Value.
Ah, there we go. From track 1.
It's about you. It's about you. Value. It's about you. It's about you. It's about you. It's about you. Value. It's about you. It's about you. Value. It's about you. It's about you. Value. It's about you. It's about you. Value.
Okay, so I've got a bit of sidechain compression going on there. It's not perfect, but this is kind of my first few hours with this whole DAW and using these compressors and everything for the first time. So I'm only kind of just getting used to that kind of stuff. I just realized I need to EQ this as well.
It's about you. It's about you. Value. a value, it's a value, value.
Probably going to want to automate that as well. Maybe do the like a filter on top. I wonder if they've got a filter within here. You've got a DJ filter. That might be the one. Let's try that. It's still quite difficult to kind of figure out which one's which. That's the filter, that's the equalizer, that's delay. Kind of want this after the EQ.
It's a value, it's a value, value. It's a value, it's a value, value. It's a value, it's a value, value. It's a value, it's a value, value.
It's quite interesting. This DJ filter here is much like the Pioneer color filters. And there's so many people that ask about a specific filter like this for Ableton. The default auto filter within Ableton allows you to either kind of low pass or high pass. You choose one or the other. With this, it's literally just like the DJM. So when you pull it down, it's kind of just letting the low frequencies through. When you push it up, it's just letting the high frequencies through, which is really quite interesting. So this would be quite good to automate.
Value, it's a value, it's a value, value. It's a value, it's a value.
Right, so now we got that in. I want to let's see about getting a bass line in there. Now this is where we're going to start looking at, I guess, their instruments and see what they can do. So there's only 4 instruments in here. 2 of them are samplers, a Rompler. I'm guessing that's from some of their instruments they've got in there already. And then the 4 OSC. Let's see what we get out of this. Right, let's see what we can do with that. And now I can actually see that the vocal here that we're using is in E minor, so that at least gives us something to work with. And I've noticed from here you can actually set it to a scale and key, which is quite nice. So let's try setting it to E minor and seeing what that actually does. I'm not actually sure what that actually does.
It's a value, 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 it's a value.
Okay, got a bit of a bouncing bass line there. I might change that a little bit. I want to move on now. I want to get some kind of music in there, some kind of chord in there. So I'm going to have a look, see what other instruments they got within here. I might have to go to getting another plugin or something for this. So I'm going to have a look at this Rompler. 808, 909, metronome. Okay, interestingly enough, we actually have a 909 kit built into here. Might actually put some extra percussion in while we got this up, actually. Interestingly enough, you don't seem to be able to make the notes longer in this step view, so I might actually go back to the normal kind of MIDI clip.
It's a value, value, it's a value, it's a value, value, it's a value, it's a value, value.
So I kind of got sidetracked a little bit there by finding that 909 kit. At least I've got an extra hat in there now. However, what I was really looking for is something to put some chords in there, an instrument for some chords. And there doesn't look to be that many instruments within this waveform free, which is fine. It's a free bit of software. It doesn't mean it necessarily has to have loads of instruments. And it only really has that 4 oscillator synth that I've already used for the bass within here. However, I want something that kind of does my kind of chords. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to find a third-party plugin that will provide that. One of the great things about having DAWs like this is that you can actually use third party, in other words, plugins that have been developed by somebody else and use them within this software. So we can find another instrument or another effect. Now, usually there's 2 places I would get my free plugins from. The first of which is Plugin Boutique. This is where I buy all of my plugins because they have really great deals on some of the newest plugins. However, they also have a really big free section as well, which is split up into effects, instruments, and studio tools. I'm going to jump into the instruments section. I'm going to look in the synth collection. So this has a load of different synths within here, and next to each one of them it shows you whether it runs on Mac and PC. Now I'm running on a Mac, so I'm going to look for one on here that obviously runs on a Mac. This one looks a little bit interesting. Let's open this one up. Now in most of these you can kind of have a look at the video for them, which often has like an idea of the sound that you get from them.
All right, so we've got feedback, ping-ponging, HP.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure about that one. Tunefish. Let's have a look at this one. Let's Sounds kind of interesting. It sounds like it's got some decent pads in there, so I might try it for that perhaps. All you need to do is add it to your downloads. So you'll need a plugin boutique account. It's free to have a plugin boutique account. You just sign up with your email address, and then once you've got that, then you kind of log into your account, and then under your free products you can see that you can just straight ahead download it. So that's in my downloads. I'm just going to go ahead and install that. Quite interestingly, actually, as soon as I installed that plugin, it's come up with this and it's found that it's already in there. So I click scan. Hopefully that should add it to my collection. Okay, so it does look like it has added that plugin to there. Let's go to my project and see if I can add it. So there we go. So that's the new plugin, and it's crashed. That's great. This is one of the only things you got to think about when you run kind of free software, is that it's not always got the same high standards that the paid software has. So you sometimes have this issue when you go to use a plugin or a combination of different software and they don't work well together. I'm going to go back into my settings and into my plugins and just remove that from within there. Let's see what else is within here. There's lots of plugins for Windows. It's just generally easier to develop for the Windows platform than it is for the Mac platform, which is unfortunate, but just one of those things. Okay, synth-wise, I'm not really finding that much. However, what I am going to do is download another synth that I know that is free and is very high quality, and that is Vital. Now, this was launched a little while ago. It's kind of almost like the free alternative to Serum, and it's got some really, really great features in it. I've used it a little bit in the past. As I say, it is free as well. There are some advantages you can get from getting the paid version, but as I say, the basic version is free, so we're going to go with that. Right, let's go back to Waveform, and that has detected Vitals in there. Let's try it again. Fingers crossed this works. I'm just going to go and install whatever content it's got. It's probably the small amount of content, this. Let's have a look at the keys, see what keys it's got within there. That's a really nice preset. I'm going to tweak this sound a bit. I think there's some effects going on there, maybe some reverb. Just really adjusted the reverb there and just added a little bit of delay in there. A little tweak there to get rid of a bit of that vocal. Felt like it was just going on too much. Also smoothing off that bass as well. I wanted to make that bass sound a little bit different. In fact, I'm not 100% sure on that bass sound. I'm wondering whether to use Vital on that. Might be something to work from. Nah, actually not too keen on that. Might just see if I could just completely start with a new preset. One of these sounds within here. That's sounding quite nice. Nice deep bass. Definitely like that new bass more than the old one. I'm going to delete that old one. You know what? Not so keen on that synth anymore. I think I want a pad of some sort. I'm going to look at the pad sound. Looks like you're not getting so many decent presets with the free version, which you kind of expect. So I'm actually going to go and initialize it again and try and create something. think I've got a decent pad sound there. And what I want to do is I want to kind of automate that kind of filter sweeping up and down. I think I can do that with the LFO here. So I'm going to drag that over to here. I think that's really starting to come together now. And in fact, I'm going to see if I can group these together because I'm not sure whether this can do that, but I'm going to have a look. So if I select all of these, create submix containing. So this is effectively a group of all the drums. I think I want to put something on that drums group, just kind of merge it all together. I want that kind of glue compressor, but something that adds a bit of character to it. And I don't think there's anything really within the effects within here. Now, I did mention there were a couple of websites that I would go to for free plugins, and another one is called Plugins for Free. And I'm looking for a compressor, I think, or maybe even a saturator. I'm not sure. There was some tube and tape stuff there. Let's have a look at this. Now, one great thing about this is you can actually filter it by your OS. So if you want to filter it by Mac or by Windows, you can via this. I'm going to filter it for Mac. Tube saturation. Let's go with this. I'm going to open that one. There's even transient splitters under here. Yeah, there's a transient shaper. I definitely want one of those. Bus compressor. Now, a bus compressor is great because this is what you use for kind of gluing stuff together. Oh, and another one there as well. See, we can just try all these out and see which one works nice. So I've gone ahead and installed all of those, and already Waveform's already found them. So I'm going to click scan now. Should be able to add those. Some of these are not working. So let's give them a go. See what we can load in. Try the GSat. Yeah, that's definitely hitting a lot harder than it did before. Just a bit of bus compression there, just to kind of glue it all together a little bit, just a tiny little bit. One thing I have noticed, I think it's with Waveform, that it does seem to reset settings sometimes. Very strange. Yeah, that sounds really nice. There you go, just sent up the sidechain on that bass. That sounds a hell of a lot better now. I really want to widen those hats up actually, and to do that I'm actually going to download another free effect, this time from Izotope. And if you go to the product section of the Izotope website, they've obviously got all their paid plugins there first, but if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll also find a few other effects down here that are free. Vinyl, which I use all the time, has that kind of vinyl-y, crackly sound in there. Imager, which kind of makes things spread out nice and wide, and then Vocal Doubler, which does pretty much what you think it was. I'm going to download Imager and also Vinyl because they're both brilliant. So now those are all installed. Again, Waveform's found them and has now added them in here. I think that's now in place. So I'm going to put it on one of my drums within here. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Isotope, and we got Imager in here. It's going to ask me to authorize it. And then it'll ask you for a serial number, which is what you get when you go through to the Izotope website. Once you click to download, it will give you that serial number. You can see it's right down the middle at the moment. I'm going to put it into stereoized mode and it will just make it a whole lot wider. Just pushes it out a little bit further. One of my favorite free plugins, that one. And in fact, I'm going to put that vinyl on the vocal sample. I think that's going to sound quite nice.
It's a value. It's a value. It's a value. It's a value.
It basically just emulates that kind of vinyl sound from a certain decade. You can choose the decades across here, and it almost kind of adds a kind of filter in there. It makes the vocals sound a bit thinner. But you've also got like a whole load of things like dust, scratch, warp, everything to kind of make it sound a little bit aged.
It's a value.
And that is pretty much a complete track idea for me, all using free software. Of course, from there, I would then arrange it all out. So adding my intro, my outro, my breakdowns, my build-ups. But all you're talking about there is kind of adding some extra effects on top, taking elements away, putting them back in again. But pretty much all the elements I need for a track are right there, all done using free software. First up, there's a DAW Waveform free. It's pretty much got everything in there that you need completely for free. It's certainly unique in the way it does stuff, but it certainly works. And I came to it fresh today, and just a few hours I got the hang of it. Then there are free plugins such as the Vital Synth. It's fully featured and it's got everything in there that you need, and anything else you can go to Plugin Boutique and Plugins for free and you'll find loads more on there. The free samples are all from Loopmasters, and by searching Google, you got pretty much everything in there you need to create a decent track. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to switch from Ableton and all the plugins that I bought over all these years to go down this free route. I honestly believe you get what you pay for. There are some plugins out there that are overpriced, there's no denying that. However, there are some that are definitely worth their money and have completely changed my workflow. But I wanted to put this video out there to show that you definitely can get started making music for free. There's loads of resources, free software, free plugins, free samples, enough there to get you started. And then when you're ready, you can start investing your money in your music career.
Right now, I'm gonna bring it back to the funk.